Hi, this is a podcast about programming the quadratic formula on your calculator. This is pretty easy to do, and I'll show you how to press the buttons. This handout on the left-hand side you may have seen before, something like it. I'm just going to walk through it. So the first thing you do is you hit the program button, which is in the middle of the third row down. Hit program, and you see this menu. You go over to new, and it says create new. When you press enter, you're in the alpha mode, so you just put in a name, and we're going to call this quad. And then you press enter, and you're now in the program editing mode. And now actually some of the buttons you press will look a little bit differently, especially the program button. Okay, so first thing we want to do is set up our calculator so that when you do the quadratic formula and you encounter a negative determinant, the thing under the square root sign is negative, you don't get an error message. And the way to do that is to go down here and to press mode, and you get to this menu, and you go and you choose A plus BI mode, which means that your calculator is going to recognize complex numbers. So it'll solve for all quadratic equations. Then you press enter and you get a new line. The new line has a colon, every new line starts with a colon. And we have to put things into our calculator. We want to be able to put in the coefficients a, b, and c for ax squared plus bx plus c. So one way to do input is you press the program button. You see this menu, and we really want the middle menu, which is the input-output menu. And one way to get things into your calculator is this thing called prompt. So you press the number 2, or you go down to prompt, and you put in alpha A, and then right above the 7 is a comma. You press comma, and then you press alpha B, and then comma, and alpha C. And what this does when you run your program, it will prompt it. It will say A question mark, and you'll put in a number, and then it'll say B question mark, and you'll put in a number for the X coefficient, and then you put in C for the constant value in your equation, quadratic equation. Then we are going to calculate the X values, and that's just putting in the quadratic formula, which you know. So start with a parentheses, and then make sure you use the negative button here, not the minus button. Negative alpha B plus the square root of alpha B squared minus 4 alpha A alpha C. Close the parentheses on the square root, close the parentheses on the numerator, divided by parentheses 2 alpha A, close parentheses. Store that in alpha X. That's where I usually put it. You can put it any place you want, but try to remember where you've put it. New line looks just like that line, except with a negative alpha B minus the square root of alpha B squared minus 4 alpha A alpha C parentheses divided by 2 alpha A parentheses. I got to store that someplace else because we already have something stored in Y that we're going to want to be able to use. So, I mean, in alpha X. So now store this one in alpha Y. Press enter. Well, now we have done the quadratic formula, and you've got these values X and Y. But you're not going to see these values until you display them. So the next part of your program has to be something about output. So you go back to this program, press the program button, go back to this menu, go to input output. We now want output, which is display. Press the number 3. We can make this slightly fancy by hitting alpha quote, that's the plus sign here, and then X. And then it would be nice if, so this is telling us that the results that we're going to get here are the X values. So X equals, you can press the second math, and there's the equal sign there. Or something I should tell you about, you can go to second catalog, and scroll up. This has all the commands in various menus that you can never find because you can't remember where they are. But if you, it takes a lot of scrolling for this, but you could go and get the equal sign right there and put that in. Either way, and then press alpha quote again. Then, oh, my little demo over here doesn't have the x equals, but that's okay. Then put in comma x comma alpha y. And what that's going to do is anything in quotes is going to show up on your screen as text. Anything that's not in quotes is going to show up on your screen. It's going to show you the contents of that memory. And we just put in the quadratic formula into these two memory spots. That's it. So now you hit display or second quit, go back and press enter. That's something else. We don't want that. And press program. And there's my quad program. And now we're in the execute menu. I got a bunch of junk in there, but you might just have the quad program right now. Press enter and press enter again. And now it's saying A. So let's test this out, see if yours works. If you put in 1, 2, 1, you should get that's working. Those are the solutions to the equation x squared plus 2x plus 1 equals 0. Try this again. Press enter. Put in 1, 5, 6. Yep, that I know. Those are a couple of quadratic equations. I know those are the solutions. Try one more time. Put in 1, 1, 1. So those are complex solutions because you can see that I. Sometimes you'll see a whole lot of decimals and then dot, dot, dot. You'll see a number plus and then a bunch of decimals and then dot, 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 and you won't see the I. But if you ever see a plus and minus in your solutions, that's telling you that these are that you've got complex solutions. In other words, no real solutions. So you should recognize it. That's it. Fun and easy. You can program other stuff now too.